I'm Julie Bartkey with Session Update. The Senate Judiciary Committee was the third stop in 3 days for the medical marijuana bill. Senator Scott Dibble's proposal would legalize the use of the drug for certain medical conditions.
The medical cannabis that Greta is taking in Colorado does not and would never give anyone a high because of the extremely low amount of THC that is in the cannabis she takes. It is safer than any of the prescription medications she has been on over in the past 7 years. But they legally cannot bring it back home or even access it in their home state of Minnesota. The best medical treatment that Greta has ever had, and it is illegal in our state. This is so unfair and so wrong.
Could you tell me, Greta, what type of cannabis does she take?
Charlotte's Web.
Okay.
It is a specific strain. It is a liquid form. It is an oil. And they either mix it in with her food 3 times a day, or else they put it in an empty gel capsule that's easier for her to take.
We are hoping that with the legalization of medical cannabis, it will help with the seizures and maybe get to hear the words mom and dad again. She has not said since 4 years old. We also hope for a few more years with her. You would think the hardest thing was the diagnosis, but it's telling her 2 older siblings that her sister is going to die. We have looked for remedies and procedures. Nothing has worked. Then we heard about Charlotte's Web in Colorado. We are torn between uprooting our family and moving to Colorado away from our family and the state we love, or staying here and see what happens. We need this law change now for safe legal access in the state of Minnesota.
Will I be able to benefit from the use of a non-smoking form of cannabis? Probably not. Because for me, for the last 20 years of my life, I've used cannabis. And the primary method that I use it is smoking it.
Marijuana is arguably one of the most widely abused controlled substances in Minnesota. It is a Schedule I controlled substance under federal and state law, meaning that it has a high potential for abuse and a lack of accepted medical use. Marijuana is not a single drug or an active ingredient. It is a complex substance, and it is reported to be far more powerful today than it was 20 to 30 years ago when I entered my law enforcement career.
Studies conducted by the National Survey on Drug Use and Health show that for adults who use it on a regular basis, 1 out of 10 become addicted, and even worse, 1 out of 6 teens. While very concerned about the adult addiction rate, we're deeply concerned for the effects of marijuana on children. The adolescent brain is especially susceptible to marijuana use. Marijuana use has significant effects on IQ and learning, and studies have showed that persistent use among adolescents can reduce the IQ 6 to 8 points.
Bills that allow for smoking and growing of marijuana will increase crime rates and the number of crime victims across the state of Minnesota.
Just a moment, please.
With that said, we want to make it clear today that we want to be part of the solution to help children and adults who are suffering, who find comfort and relief from marijuana. We are not opposed to a responsible and reasonable first step toward finding common ground on this issue. We are very encouraged by Governor Dayton and legislators who believe a study and a clinical trial should take place before Minnesota approves a comprehensive medical marijuana statute.
People, I think, would say, let's move forward with this with caution, but let's do something. And I think most people would agree that with our police departments, that the major aspect that I think many of us are concerned about, at least I am, is the plant and the smoking of the plant. Every alternative that we've been talking about would be there, but the alternative, except for the alternative of smoking, combustible. So this would be heating in a vaporizing. That's different to me. Or putting it in brownies, if that's their choice, and that's prescribed by the doctor for some reason, then I would accept that.
Like I said, I have concerns with just going with vaporization because, like I said, these units are extremely expensive. It will present a barrier to a lot of folks.
To watch the entire discussion on this bill in the Judiciary Committee, you can go online to senate.mn/media.